Yo, what's up guys? Rob Shoecraft here with 3 Storm Fitness, and today I'm going to go over 3 of my favorite hip flexor stretches. Maybe some of them you haven't seen before. Basically, all 3 of these are... So, first let me just real quickly talk about hip flexors. Hip flexors are what allow you to do this with your hips. And they often get real tight. They're the cause of back pain for a lot of people, or at least a contributor. They also can sometimes be a bit of a mobility restriction when it comes to doing explosive things like sprinting or jumping, etc. If you have tight hip flexors, you can't quite fully extend your hips to your optimal range. So it's important to stretch your hip flexors every now and then, or at least, at the very least, just do what you can to make sure they're not too tight. The problem that I've found with a lot of my clients is that not everybody can hit their hip flexors very well by doing like the classic, do this real quick. Let me show you 2 stretches that are real popular. One is like this lunge stretch. You get down in this position, you drop that hip forward, and it's pretty solid. I mean, it's easy to do it. You don't need any equipment to do it. It's relatively straightforward. But sometimes you don't quite get that same amount of stretch. Not poo-pooing it, but it's not for everybody. Another one that's real common is a lot of people call it the couch stretch. Basically, you take like a couch. I don't have a couch. I got an office chair here. You throw your back leg up, and then you sit back like that. Really open things up. That's a great one. It's very intense. You can do it up against the wall or whatever. The problem for a lot of people is their quads are so tight, or their hip flexors are so darn tight all the way through that they can't even, I'll ask them when they feel it, and they'll be like, I feel it, down here. So they're not even getting the stretch. They're just really stretching their quads. There's a number of things you can do to a lot of times we'll kind of do some SMRs, some foam rolling on the quads and loosen that up, and then they'll get it. But let me show you 3 stretches that works for just about everyone. I'll start with the simplest, and we'll kind of move our way up from there. So this one, real easy. All you need is basically a stable platform, something you can put your foot up on, and something you can use to kind of stabilize yourself. So put your foot up. This is just a wave bag, like a heavy bag, and then just drop that hip in toward the object that's holding you up. And you can count for do it for 2 minutes. If you want to go by that, like the Smashworks protocol, or you sometimes I have to say just take 15 real deep breaths and just camp out there. So that's show you from this side. That one works for just about everyone. Here's another one. I like this one a lot too, because it has a bit of variance in it. Take an incline bench, and preferably an adjustable incline bench. This is kind of like a lighter version of the couch stretch. So rather than the couch stretch, right here, up against the thing, right? Very intense, and it's great if you have the ability to stretch your hip flexors that way. But you're not quite hitting it, so maybe it's too intense or whatever. Maybe it hurts your knee, I don't know. All right, you can start easy and then just drive those hips forward. Okay? And if you want to make it more intense, go ahead and do so by adjusting the seat. All right? Last one. If you guys got any questions about these, let me know. You may have a question about this one. This one would be the best angle here. Okay, so what I got here is my Spudding big race strap. I did a review on it a while back. I love this thing. You could also do this with a yoga swing, or probably any other kind of swing you might have in your house. I don't know what you guys are into, but whatever. All right, so you put this thing on. There's all sorts of different things you can do with this. I love this thing. It's great. By the way, I was just talking about a playground swing there. Nothing else. What do you think I meant? All right, you put this up by your, kind of on top of your hips. Walk yourself in. I like to do these usually so that my shoulders are on the ground. You can also free hang. You can have this up a little higher, so you're literally just dangling there, but it's pretty intense. This is usually just good enough for most people. Okay, so you walk your feet up, hook one leg over, so you kind of running a base, an anchor rather, and then you can hang on to the power rack if you want to. It's not really necessary. All right, and then you're just gonna let that leg, the side that you're working on, float. And you're going to squeeze your glutes. Fire that glute as hard as you can. Squeeze it for about 5 seconds. And then relax it. Just let it relax all the way. Just repeat that. And then relax. And let gravity just pull it down. It's a wondrous thing. It works very, very well. I'll watch folks. They'll come in and they'll do this. If I can get them brave enough to get into this thing. They'll come in and they'll do this and their foot will be out here. After about 3 or 4 cycles of that, it'll be down on the floor. Really works wonders. It's a relatively easy way, once you get into position, kind of a pain-free way to really open up the hips. All right, guys, hope that helped you out. If you have any questions about that, you got any other favorites that you have, please drop it in the comments. Please subscribe to this channel, and please have a wonderful evening right now. I normally shoot these in the evening, but I had some spare time. I had a couple cancellations, so. All right. Have a good one.